Okay, right. My name is Harry Banks, and Malachi Banks' father. And I'd just like to give our side of the story based upon what's been going on in the Bay Net and Southern Maryland news. And first and foremost, I'd like to say our condolences go out to the deceased. It's a shame that in the middle of all this Black Lives Matters movement, we still got colored people killing after other colored people, so-called African Americans killing after each other. You know, in the midst of all this Black Lives Matter movement, you know, we still continue to shoot each other, do violence to each other every day. So my condolences will go out to the family of the deceased, okay, about your loss and things like that. Okay, so continue onward. As I'm reading through this, the transcripts from the court, it identified that the gunshot shell casings that was found near the deceased was a .380, 9mm, and a .40 caliber. And then it goes on to the report. First of all, I'd like to say that during the time of the murder, which it was told that it was around about 10:20, 10:25, all right, myself as well as his brothers, Tavon and Tobias Banks, could verify that Malachi Banks was in the house with us at the time that the murders were committed, okay, first and foremost, about that note. There was a report earlier in the Southern Maryland news that the police or whomever stated that we told them that he was not with us during the time of the murder around 10:15, 10:30 at night, which I heard was like 10:20. That is false, okay? I know for a fact of my testimony in which I told the police officers that my son went upstairs. And at the time of the shooting, I heard some shots in the background because I was downstairs. We live in a 2-story house. And basically what happened was, shortly after that, this was maybe about 10:20, 10:25-ish, my sons, including Malachi Banks, and his two brothers, Tavon Tobias, ran downstairs and said, "Yo, Pop, they're shooting outside. Dad, they're shooting outside." Malachi was amongst them, so he was not the shooter. He ran downstairs and said, "Look, Pop, they're shooting outside. They're shooting outside." Now, they know I have a gun, a 9mm, so it was like, "Get the gun, Pop, get the gun, Pop." They was joking about it, though, on that sense of the shooting. They didn't know somebody was murdered, though, during that time period. So I told the detectives that, and the detectives basically did not like what I was saying, because when he came to the house for the second search warrant, he asked, "Are you sure about that? You sure about that?" in a mean voice term. But I am sure about that because he was there. So my son was not in the shooting. We did not tell the police officers that, well, I know for a fact, I did not tell the police officers that my son was not there. I witnessed him in the house during the time of the murders. So that's that. That's basically what I wanted to say concerning that part, that he wasn't there. And they recovered a .22 caliber from the house when they came back. And from my understanding, the .22 caliber was not even involved in the shooting, okay? Because we have the right to bear arms, our Second Amendment rights, but none of those guns was ever used in any murders whatsoever. So I just want to get that straight out. I know a lot of people are emotional right now. I know a lot of people are upset. They want to get justice behind it. But the report also stated there were several shooters involved, and it seems like everybody just want to put everything on my son when there's several other shooters out there. The real killer is still loose, and the real killer is still out there. The killers are still out there. Okay, we don't know who they are. That's for the police to investigate, but I know I can stand for my son was not one of them. He was in the house with me during that time period. Okay, and like I said, the weapon they recovered was a .22 from the house when they came back for the second time for the search warrant, and that wasn't even what was involved in the shooting. Okay, so if there was something of any effect, talking about, well, you know, he had a gun on him because they're saying some stuff about he went to his girlfriend's house, son, to get rid of it, and stuff of that nature. That gun was not even involved in the shooting. So the investigation of the shooting, which happened in the back of Wendy's, the gun that they found didn't even pertain to that shooting. That's really all I wanted to say and bring out concerning this matter. That my son is innocent. Free him, and we will be going to get, if the court-appointed attorneys are not doing their job, we'll be getting lawyers and we will hire him, because this is serious for us. My son is facing life for first and second degree murder, okay? And he did not do this murder once again. And if the court-appointed lawyers and the public defenders are not doing their job, then we're just gonna have to find somebody who will, okay? Because we want justice for our son, as well as the deceased the family of deceased want justice for their family relatives. That's all I have to say.
All right, I'm Tobias Banks. And first thing I want to say is the cops is lying. The police is not doing their job. The investigation is this is the first lead that they got, and they're already trying to base the whole case off this one lead that they got, instead of doing actual investigations and going out there and finding a real killer. Then that's the only thing that they're doing. Another thing is, I never said that my brother wasn't home at the time of the shooting. I don't know what that police statement is saying. They're lying. They're not doing their job. They're lying. They sitting there saying that I said that my brother wasn't home, knowing that I said my brother was home at the shooting. So I don't know why they said that. My brother was home at the shooting because we was sitting there watching the Lakers game. If you go look at the date and time of the Lakers game and which it ended and when it started, where he was there from when it ended and when it started to when it ended. And yeah, I seen him that night. We heard gunshots. We was the one who heard gunshots upstairs. And when we heard gunshots, we all came downstairs, including Malachi. And also, not one fact, when all of us, including Malachi, tried to go outside, there was a police officer that told everyone to get back in the house, including Malachi. And that was the time of the shooting. The police was flying down the street of Hancock. There was multiple police cars. Everybody seen the police cars flying down our street. So when they told us to get back in the house, that's exactly what we did. And I don't know what they're saying about Malachi going outside doing some shooting, but all I know is Malachi was here and at our house at 10:15, 10:20, whatever time of the shooting was, he was there. He was not outside. Yeah, that's it.
My name is Dyante Banks, and I just want to say that I also did not say that Malachi wasn't present at the house. I said that when I got home from work, that Malachi was upstairs in the room talking to my cousin. That's what I seen him doing before I went off and I did my own thing and went into my own room. Malachi was definitely there, especially, like, I seen him there. And I also told him that when we heard the gunshots, he ran downstairs with us. The police chaplain was trying to tell me that he wasn't there with me to try to confuse me, but I know that he was there. Like, he was there, and then, like, they just was mad stink. They try to confuse me. Like, they try to confuse me. Like, that's all I gotta say.
And yes, he was there during the shooting. When we was upstairs, I told him that I've seen my brother before the movie started, which before the movie ended, which I said ended at 10:45. So if I told him that the movie, I seen him 10-20 minutes before the movie ended, that brings them around the time of the shooting. Also, I did make mention that I did see Malachi in the house, and we was getting it ready to engage and, you know, just smoking and stuff. That's what we was gonna do before all of this happened. And we also had hit up our friend. We was just trying to be in the house, trying to, you know, cop some marijuana. That's what we was doing. And I was also trying to say that the cops just don't believe anything the cops saying. Don't believe the hype. All that shit stuff.
Right. Also, just to add thought to what my sons were saying, my son, he works at the McDonald's or whatever. I picked him up over in California. He gets off at 10 o'clock at night. Takes about 10-15 minute drive depending on traffic. And we arrived back at the house at about 10:15. We just missed the shootings. The shootings was just after we came into the house. It was at 10:15, all right? And then at about 10:20, that's when the shots run out, okay? And that's when him and his brothers came downstairs yelling about, they shooting outside, but they was doing it in a jokingly manner. They wasn't real scared or nothing. And also I'd like to add out that when I did see my son leave the house, because I was on the couch trying to get some sleep, when I did see my son leave the house, it was about 11:30 to 11:45 at night. Okay, so I'm not saying that he was home all night, you know, in bed and stuff. No, at 11:45 at night, and I advised him not to go out because there was all types of nonsense going out in the streets. They already told us to stay inside, but ill-advised, he didn't listen to his father, and he went outside anyways. And he was like, "Oh, Dad, I'm just going somewhere real quick," or "Pop, blah, blah, blah." He said it real fast, and I was half asleep. But I warned him not to go outside due to the fact that, you know, it was just hectic out there. But it was around 11:30, 11:45 at night. That's the time that I seen him leave the house after I came home with my other son from work about 10:15. Okay, so he left at 11:45. And then the next time, about an hour, maybe an hour and 15, 20 minutes later, that's when him and a whole bunch of police officers just arrived on the scene, and they made us all leave out. You probably seen the video on the bayonet where that happened shortly after midnight or 12:30ish or close to 1, I think it was. And that's all I wanted to say concerning that matter. And I can't stress it enough, okay, that my son did not have possession of any murder weapon. They need motive, okay? They need motive. They need to cut through all of our alibis. I don't know what type of recording they claim that they have. A lot of these cops, all black folks look alike, all black kids look alike. That's why I told that other cop over there that all you cops tend to look alike as well. You got your crew cut haircuts. But the thing about the situation is they try to pin my son somewhere else by some vaguely video recording. Okay, I would like to see that recording. okay? And they try to say he had a black hoodie shirt, and that's not, let me say something, that's not enough, okay? Because I have a white shirt on, and they can have somebody in limited time commit a murder with a white shirt on. That's not enough. They need facial recognition, okay? They need facial recognition. They have to put my son at the scene of the crime, and they have to put they got to put the murder weapon in his hands, and they got to have motive. And I don't feel like as if they are, so we are going to continue to fight this. And once again, my condolences to the deceased and their family. That's all I'd like to add on.
One big fast story.
Prior to what my father was saying, when he see Malachi leave the house around 11:30 to 11:45, we also have messages of Malachi Banks. He texted his girlfriend right before he left the house. He texted his girlfriend, and went multiple times. And when he got to his girlfriend's house, explaining the ring video, yes, my brother is obsessed with the girl, so he made anything up just to see her right then and there on the spot. Because, you know, he was blowing up her phone before he left. That's all he wanted to do, and that was in his state of mind before he left, was to just see his girlfriend. And he was just trying to figure out, how can I get her to come outside immediately when I go to her house? And being that she wasn't trying to come outside of anything he was saying during the text, he had to make a drastic measure cause for her to come outside and see her. So that's it. That's why.
Is at our house. The detectives is at our house.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Okay.
So yeah, and I just want to say, we're not from out here. We're from New York City. We've been out here for 2 years now. Anybody that we know in this area, we are mutual friends with. We're mutual in this area. We don't have nothing to do with any beefs. We're not in no gangs. We go to school. We all have jobs. We all have money. We're not gangs. We have our own car. We're not in no gangs. We're not into that. We're not into no involvement in gangs at all. We're from New York City. So for Malachi, or for y'all to be saying here, believing that we have something to do with this investigation and we have something to do with this, y'all are bugging out. Like, what is wrong with y'all? That's all I gotta say. I'm getting mad.
Right now, as we speak, the detectives are at our house right now on Hancock Road, and we're not going to speak to the detectives. We just want to speak to the lawyers. That's it. We don't have nothing else to say to the detectives, and at all. We want to speak to our lawyers only. We have our right to remain silent. We were issued our Miranda rights on this issue. We don't have nothing else to say to the detectives. So we're going to go back to the house, and that's it. And we want our lawyers to be present at this time. That's it.